Libra 20, the Jewish rabbi. Traditional wisdom, which is exemplified in the Jewish tradition, binds a community together very strongly indeed. If this is the way that we do things, and we always do in that way, and we all do it that way, this creates a sense of unity, a bonding for a community. And sometimes that's really important. Sometimes the community experience is actually more important than the individual experience. The Jewish race exemplifies this too, because throughout history they have been subject to scapegoating, and they had to bind themselves together as a group to survive that and to prosper through that. So the rabbi is obviously the most revered figure within their group, and in a sense the last authority being the last absolute authority being God itself. Then the rabbi can speak with some authority on the words that are said to be coming from that source. So we have here a community based not on the final rule of property and land and wealth. We have a community here which is based in the nth degree, finally, on the word, the sacred word. So that's what the Jewish rabbi represents. Now, of course, there's a great danger of this kind of knowledge, this kind of teaching of the truth of life, is that people believe it to be absolute, they believe it to be fixed, never changing. We can't negotiate, we can't discuss, we can't put another point of view. It is this way, and if you don't like it, you're wrong. The teaching itself becomes sclerosed. It's not healthy. Teaching is alive. It should evolve, it should change. Every time you speak of knowledge, every time you think of knowledge, you're in relationship with knowledge itself. And every relationship changes, every participant in the relationship. So knowledge is changing as we know it. And we know this is the case. As the years go by, what people knew to be true becomes false. What people knew to be false becomes true. It changes all of the time, much more quickly now with scientific developments being what they are. But on the level of esotericism also, there are big changes afoot. A huge change has taken place since the 60s, when a great deal more attention was given to the esoteric subjects. And bit by bit, slowly over the decades, that initiative has been matured, and certain big names have come out to focus our attention generally, and they come up with pronouncements about what is the current wisdom. But what we have to understand, I think, is that these social role models, these people that we look to for wisdom, actually, their purpose is to bind the community. It is not to teach wisdom. Wisdom is much more self-referential. We mustn't accept given wisdom willy-nilly. We have to challenge it. Now, in the particular example of the Jewish rabbi, his position is strongly masculine. This is the case, you will do what I say. It is very masculine. And yet his demeanor, his service, his response to the community is very feminine. And here's an example of somebody who has balanced those two qualities of masculine and feminine. And when we have that sense of balance, wisdom unfolds. Life is only the push and pull between masculine and feminine. So if we've got both of those things reasonably comfortably, then some third force arises within us. The power of equal balance between male and female is celebrated in Sufism. Now, we have the inevitable arising from a position of leadership generally, but most particularly spiritual leadership, is that people put things on you. And sometimes they put all the best things that they can think of on you. They have love and they have no one to love, so they love the teacher. Or they have angst and anger and they put that on the teacher. The teacher becomes almost like the scapegoat of the community. So it siphons off some of this scapegoat energy. And a spiritual teacher is inevitably going to be attacked. No question. If you're actually taking up a role of guiding someone else, even in a small way, if that becomes, shall we say, how you identify yourself, that will be grounds for people to have a go at you. You see, the thing is with this role is that it inevitably challenges the ego at the very deepest of levels. It is so easy to fall into the trap of egotism, where you think you're more important because you know more. And that's borne out by the way people treat you in society. And it's a false thing. You're not more important than anyone else. You do know more, but that doesn't make you more important. And the role of the teacher is to try and be considered most important by the community, and yet remember the sense of being nothing in the face of God.